Hello, hello.
Hello there. Welcome to the stream.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So what is your preferred alias?
You can call me Dan. That's my real name.
Okay, cool. Well, Dan, thank you so much for joining me on the stream here today. Do you want to talk a little bit about your role on TempleTumble.exe?
Of course. I worked in a team of two with my friend.
Hmm.
I did all the art, and then a little bit of the Unity busy work. Um, and then my friend did all of the coding.
All right,
Ugh.
nice. And the music?
The music we originally had a third person for music, but he ended up being too busy this time around. So we made all the sound effects using a program called where is it?
Sorry, with what?
SFXR.
Oh,
There's a
SFXR.
program
Yep, yep,
called SFXR that kind of
yep, yep.
randomly generates. Yeah, yeah. And then the actual tracks are just royalty free songs we found online.
Nice. Um, yeah, I definitely we also had to use sort of pre-built music for our game, which actually I will just take a quick second to plug that because I get all my music from Mark Sparling, who spent the better part of 3.5 years making a new song every single day, and they're all excellent chiptune music, and they're all available for just $1, and they are you're cool to use them in the background music for your jam games, and he also offers very reasonable rates for licensing for anyone interested. So yeah, that's where I get all the great music for our games. Uh,
That's pretty
all
good.
right, so gotta make my way through here, waiting the. Oh, is everything like collapsing on me?
Yeah, the ground's falling tile by tile.
That was a bad time to tab out, huh?
Yeah. Oh, it's fine.
Okay,
In the earlier levels, it's pretty slow.
okay. Oh, unless you walk right onto a platform as it collapses.
Yeah.
No problem. Uh, okay, well, I can give the level another shot. So let's also move on to our next question then. So, what was the inspiration behind this game?
I don't know if you could tell already, but Enter the Gungeon was a pretty big, pretty big source
Okay.
to pull from. But just like design wise, um, first day of the jam, I fell asleep immediately after the theme was announced because I'm stupid and pulled an all nighter the night before, and my friend was still
Uh,
in classes. So wake up like half a day later,
mhm.
we go, oh my god, we got to start. What's the theme? And we just the first thing that came to us was like sort of top down uh, roguelike where the floor is collapsing.
Mhm.
Went through a few iterations, but at the beginning we're kind of wide eyed and optimistic, going, oh man, we can do all these things. All right, it's gonna have like pillars moving down, or it's gonna be like a whole line of blocks where you can stand on. There's gonna be indicators showing what's about to fall, stuff on the
Mhm.
ceiling. If you fall down, you go down to the floor below, and stuff like that. And then you end up having to cut things off on the last day.
Yeah, I mean, it's always you've got to adjust your scope, but better to do that and still be able to finish. So well done.
Of course, of course.
Um, Oh, and so lower third is asking, yes, in fact, Mark Sparling did do the music for A Short Hike and also for Shantae and Seven Sirens, as well as one of my own games from years past. So he's a good friend and he makes excellent music.
Oh, man, I heard good things about Short Hike.
Yep. I got a chance to try that game in beta as well because the developer is based here in Toronto. So I got to see it and try an early version of it. Um, so yeah, it's a really like just nice and relaxed experience, and definitely I think touched a lot of people's hearts. Really quickly, Spike Studio, thank you. Go ahead and if you send me your responses, then I can try out your game while reading out the responses. That's kind of how I started out the stream as well. But I just skipped to this project because I hadn't heard back from you in time. But no worries, I'll go back to anyone who shows up. All right. So, what was the development process like for the game?
Uh, yeah, I think me and my team member, my friend, were pretty in sync about what we wanted the game to be.
Hmm.
we got on call from the first moment, or the first moment we were both awake and out of classes.
Mhm.
Oh, by the way, you can pick up both weapons if you want. You can
Oh,
hold two guns with space.
oh, okay. Well, I missed my chance for that one, but
Sorry, yeah, the
I was
stream's a bit
like,
delayed on my end.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, we just got on call. I think we had the same idea and plan for the game the whole time. We're just like, all right, so here's what we need to have done at the very least. Then after we get all that done, let's add more to it.
Hmm.
Kind of started with the tiles. My friend worked on the random room generation, so it feels like a roguelike. Pretty standard, I think.
Right. So it's not strictly necessary to kill all the enemies. I can just keep an eye out for the exit, or do I have to kill them in order for the door to open?
You have to kill them for the door to open, I'm afraid. And there's going to be more of them each new level.
Gotcha. Okay. So what sort of sanity checks did you implement? Well, that was interesting. I just came back to the room that I was already in. Okay, okay. I didn't realize that's the way it worked. So what sort of sanity checks did you build in for making sure that, like, is a level always going to be navigable, or I seem to be taking damage from something?
So as you might be noticing, the walls on the outer sides of the room.
Yeah.
But I think you're going backwards. Oh wait, no, you're fine. The walls on the outer sides of the rooms never fall down. And to account for that, there are spikes everywhere on the other side of the room. So if you're standing in the middle, there's the risk that the floor is going to collapse beneath you. If you're standing in the sides, you got to watch out for the spikes.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So that's the way that you sort of initially focus the player on fighting the enemies, but then also with the risk of like falling through the gaps as they appear. But otherwise, now do platforms collapse immediately underneath you? Like, could I be standing on one?
They can, and they have multiple times while we're showing to streamers, which is a bit unfortunate because it hasn't happened in development. Originally, we were going to have indicators that show when it was about to fall down, but this was like very much a last-minute submission. I'm just like, okay, just get it in.
Yeah.
It's functional.
Yeah.
It ended up being one of the things we cut out. Also, you can dodge roll past the holes.
Yes.
Things get a bit too crowded.
Oh, okay, that's great to know. I didn't realize, it's always the toss-up of how you end up implementing the physics on that, because I wasn't sure if it was just going to, like, detect that I hit a hole and just immediately drop me down it, but I do appreciate that that is not the case. And the animation on these is pretty well timed to where I see I can, like, make it past them, especially if I do a little dodge roll. Okay, there we go. All right. So can you recommend a useful shortcut or hack in the Unity engine that you would like you think would be useful for other first-time developers to know? Or not first time specifically, but just like it might not be the most obvious thing that other people are aware of.
I think the last guy said it as well, but just like implementing sort of like dev tools and gizmos at the beginning of development that you're using multiple times during development will speed things up. There's a few small things like the spikes, for example, that has no coding behind it. Like I did it myself without coding. You make the animation, you import it to Unity, you create a new animation, and then you toggle the hitbox for it in the frame that you want, and it saves it.
Nice. Yeah, I ended up just trying out both the guns here, and like
you can take both if you want. If you have
oh right, swap with spacebar. Yeah. Okay. Let's leave the pistol behind and go for the big guns here. These are both very like fire and then reload. Can you reload manually or?
You cannot now. You have to use the entire magazine to do so.
Got it. Okay. Is there a reason that you didn't implement a manual reload in the game?
Just ran out of time.
Okay. So maybe I'll jump ahead to one of the other questions then. Well, actually, it is kind of the next one I had in order. But do you have any other plans for the game going forward? Are there any of the other features you'd like to implement if you had more time?
There's plenty of features we would have implemented if we had more time. And we might just for fun, but this will never be a full Steam release or anything like that.
Hmm.
We're still working on our jam game from April. We decided to make that one into a full game, and considering that's still in progress, we don't want to take on another one.
Hmm. Yeah, I know that's the anytime you get the the good bit of feedback from people on other jam projects, it definitely feels good. But then it's like, okay, well, let's do we finalize this as a product, or do we just accept that people had a good time with it and move on?
Yeah, exactly. My friend sent me a screenshot of someone saying they would like this to be a full game, and I just told him, no, I'm not. I can't. Not again.
Hmm.
One at a time.
Um, Lurk Not Lie mentioned that his little guy's holding the gun wrong. Which one? Do you think the shotgun? Oh boy, nearly fell there. So I guess falling is an instant death, yeah?
Yep. Originally, we
Okay,
planned for it so that if you fall down, you just go down one level below, and then you
right.
can climb your way back up. But that also ended up being cut.
No problem. Uh, I'll just. Yeah, so how far do people usually make it in the game?
Uh, I've seen a few people give up on level 2. I've seen a few people make it to level 4. Uh, Scale pretty fast, and you only get one heart back every floor. So
Yeah.
I'd say it's 3 is
Wow.
a
I
healthy
just got
average.
this gun seems incredibly powerful. It just fires for so long. Yeah. There's a lot of great.
Yeah, there's definitely some guns that are objectively better.
And was that intentional, or was that just sort of like how they ended up?
Uh, it, it wasn't unintentional. We're just like guns were the first thing we're adding for variety,
Hmm.
for it to feel more like a roguelike. We're like, okay, we need a bunch of guns, a bunch of enemies, a bunch of rooms. We got 7 rooms in or so, or maybe I think it was 9 at the end. Ah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Um, do you? So okay, you're not going to make this like a full on release, but do you have any plans to make like a post gen version of it?
Um, no set in stone plans, but I've been thinking about it. I might hit my friend up and just like get it polished up again in one more weekend.
The main thing that I would love to see is, your first run starts the same every time, and you kind of have to play a lot of the game just with the starter pistol.
Hmm.
I would love it if the very first time you oh no. Um if you got a choice, or at least a single randomized gun at the beginning of the game. That would help it feel a little more um, randomized, and it wouldn't feel like the same experience the beginning of each game. Even though the level design is different, but what really makes the game play differently is the actual guns that you're wielding.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll bring it up.
So I know that it's not always possible to do like a full on release, but sometimes you can dedicate like an hour or two here or there just to make some tiny tweaks.
Yeah, it's very interesting to show the game on stream and hear everyone else's take on it, because it very much uses just like a bubble while you're making
Hmm.
it,
Oh, for
and
sure.
there's a lot of things we didn't consider.
But yeah, you mentioned it was really like coming together towards the end. Like um, how little time did you have left when you were submitting?
Uh, we like I was counting down the minutes in like single digits. I was like, all right, we have 8 minutes, we have 7 minutes, we have 6 minutes, and then we turned it in just like
Hmm.
on the last minute, and it didn't have the lighting right. All the like lighting and shadows and like all the cool visual systems besides just like the base sprites weren't working. We're
Oh
like,
no.
oh no, it's gonna look awful. And then we saw that there was not a full hour for submission. We're like, okay,
Hmm.
phew, thank God,
Yeah, the
we
grace
have an hour to
period.
fix this.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, we barely got it in.
Yeah, that's it was a very similar experience for us. We also ended up dipping into that submission grace period because um in like the last second where I was and I'm glad I did it. Like the character used to um just sort of die and instantly respawn in our game. And at the last second, I added in a little like shudder to the character and a pause on death. And someone commented saying, "I really appreciate the pause on death." I'm like, worth it.
Yeah, the small bits of polish really add a lot every time.
I appreciate you putting the swap tile reminder here. Oh, hello, Icy Lava, raiding with a party of 9. Welcome. Super
Woo!
appreciate that. Um, but yeah, I love this little touch because like it's yeah, you haven't had occasion to swap until you get this far in the game. So the fact that you put this here as a reminder, yeah, we got the tried and true shotgun. But yeah, once again, big thanks to Icy Lava for the raid. For those who are just joining us, the way that we do the interviews here is you can use a submit command to drop your game in the Discord. And if we do have a lot of people here, I try to give each game roughly 20 minutes worth of time just to talk through things with the developer. But if there's a lot of people all vying to get their game played at the same time, I might just do a raffle in between playing games that are in order. Oh, I just walked across a diagonal there. That was pretty lucky. But yeah, so I think we are just about wrapping up. Yeah, good night, Icy Lava. Thanks again for the raid. So where can people find you? And you mentioned another project that you were also in active development on?
Oh yeah. We're still working on finishing up the Steam release version for our first Game Jam game from April.
Yeah.
You can follow us on Twitter at Flatfist Studios, or I think it's
Mhm.
just at Flatfist. Yeah, I'll drop it in the chat.
Yes, please go ahead.
I think that's right. Uh,
Do you want to talk a little bit more about that other project that you're working on?
yeah, sounds good. So the theme back then was Deeper and Deeper.
Right.
And we made this game where you rappel. I thought, hey, there's a pretty cool mechanic that we haven't seen explored in other games before. You grab onto hooks on the side of a building, and then you sort of make your way down by swinging from hook to hook.
Mm-hmm.
And as we started development on it, we wanted it to be like a really big game. We wanted to be like
Yeah.
a full experience. And we realized that that mechanic doesn't fully support more than like maybe 2 hours of gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
You need to add a lot of it to make it interesting for a while. But it's pretty good for a game jam game.
Oh, I played Rabbit Rappel.
Oh hell
In
yeah!
fact, I'm trying to remember. Maybe I even did an interview with MatterLinx. Yeah, that name sounds familiar.
Yo,
Okay, yeah, because I definitely remember playing Rabbit Rappel. I can't remember because I sort of started doing these developer interviews part way through some of the Ludum Dare games that I was playing. So it might have been, I was just like, hang on. As you were describing, like, I'm pretty sure I remember that. Yeah. Yeah. And I remember early on, with all the overwhelming feedback you were getting, so many people commenting and, the overall ratings for the game, ended up, you were happy with the results?
yeah, very much so. Top 5%.
Nice. All right. So yeah, let me make sure I go ahead and drop a link into Rab Repel so others can try it out as well. And yeah, you've already got your Twitter link in there. So yeah, I think we're going to wrap things up for now. But once again, please feel free to send any games, especially if you have like a build in progress version of Rabbit Repel. I'd love to just like talk about the design of it, how you're going through with that project, if ever you'd like to hop on the stream and show it off.
No, of course, man. I might take you up on that. And
All right.
yeah,
Okay, well, sounds good. And yeah,
howdy.
just reach out anytime.
All right,
Talk to
will
you
do.
later. Have a good evening. Bye bye.